Hello, everyone. My name is Nicolas Polymonakos. I work behind the scenes at Norwac with many different little tasks. And today I'm with Kira Sutherland. Hello, Kira.
Hey, Nicholas.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, you're speaking at the conference here, Norway conference, which happens May 22nd through the 26th, 2025. We have three different topics actually. There's
Yeah.
two standard lectures, and you're doing an incredible workshop here on the Friday.
Yeah.
We could just jump right.
Pre-conference.
Yep. Pre-conference lectures on Friday the 23rd at 9 a.m. This workshop is called Cycles of Wellness: Timing Techniques for Optimal Health. And so for people who, first of all, for people who don't know who you are,
Yeah.
they don't know, what would you say, how would you introduce yourself in a sense of what you do? Put
Awesome.
it that way. Yeah.
I am obviously I'm an astrologer, or I wouldn't speak at Norwac, but I'm a practicing Australian naturopath, herbalist, nutritionist, homeopath, like health practitioner. And so how to explain it? I lecture in medical astrology, but I lecture in a very naturopathic or pro-health style of medical astrology. So there's, amazing traditional medical astrology, but I don't break any rules, but I tend to be much more of I kind of proactively, what are we going to do with our astrology and how are we going to be healthier within ourselves, or how can we coach our clients to be healthier? So I would say I'm a bit of a, um, what's the word? Preventative health, proactive naturopathic medical astrologer. I've never said it like that, but that's what I do,
Yeah,
really.
no, yeah, it's what you do. And I've known you for years now, and I've seen you lecture
Yeah.
on different topics within this realm. And yeah, you have a great way of synthesizing everything you say you did, you've studied and have done in your
Yeah.
experience, and the way you put it together, and it's always very accessible. I could
Yeah.
say that. This particular workshop that you have here, talking about timing techniques for optimal health, starting from the daily circadian rhythms and
Yeah.
their
I'm super
overlap with the
excited for
astro.
that, but
Yeah, with their overlap with the astrological houses, and talking about what the how you'll explore cycles of the moon, sun, and inner planets, and how you can harness them. And it's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's not like, oh, I'm sick. Where can I find it in the chart? This
Mhm.
is much more, let's look at the bigger cycles of our actual health, like circadian rhythms, your sleep wake cycle, but it's much more than that. It's your digestive cycle, that every organ in your body and all the hormones you make have their own cycles. And so, traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda both look at a 24-hour clock, but this is me playing with Western astrology, medical astrology, and our health and circadian rhythms. But then we go into rhythms, solar rhythm is 24 hours. We got that lunar rhythm of, 28, 29 days, depending on what
Mhm.
you're looking at. But also just the rhythms of the inner planets and how we can look at those cycles to do things for our health. Like, if we're having a transit, how can we proactively use it to use the energy so maybe it doesn't cause us health issues, or just how to go play with your chart in a proactive health way? Because, we're always told all these things to do for our health, but they're really hard. So,
Mhm.
this is the idea of ritualizing or bringing some sacredness. Is that a word? Bringing some
Mhm.
sacred into our daily health, monthly, weekly rituals. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one of we're
enchanting our health into a sacred ritual. That's really what
yeah,
I
and
want
I
to
think it's
say.
inherent to being human is our your connection to cycles and to nature itself, because everything within nature has its own timeline
Oh
and
my gosh,
cycles.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
And we have that within our body, but we don't get taught that in regular
Yep.
Western health. So we're going to really have a play with what are your natural cycles within the physical body, but also within the astrology body, and how do they line up in some way. So it's a very, I'm a all what you can go do with it. So it's very proactive. It has to be usable, or I've not done my job, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's how I know you is the proactive, usable way
Yeah,
of doing things.
yeah,
For anybody watching on there, watching this video, This is available separately from the conference. So if you don't want to go
Yes.
to the online part of it, I'm encouraging you to do that. But even if
Yeah.
you just wanted to go to this pre-conference workshop on the Friday, you can do a solo buy-in on that. You can go to the
Yeah.
website norwac.net. You can hit the schedule in the registration tab. You could see what's going on there. That's what you're doing on Friday. You're kind of one of these
Yeah.
people who do
And
pre-conference, open up the conference, and then you have two
yeah.
more lectures during the actual conference weekend. On the Saturday, May 24th, there you have a lecture called The 12 Healers in Medical Astrology.
Yeah.
Um, you're basically, it says many forms of natural medicine come in number 12. Dr.
Yes.
Edward
Fancy
Bach,
that.
this I know Dr. Edward Bach, created 12
Yeah.
flower essences and created 12 homeopathic tissue salts. And so you're basically going to talk about that in the relation with astrology. Is that what I'm taking it?
Yeah. Yeah, again, another how to use it. So Edward Bach or Bach, depending on how you want
Uh-huh.
to say it.
Yeah.
I like to say Bach, but sometimes people correct me. Yes, he originally has 38 essences. Flower essences are um, energetic or kind of homeopathic herbs. So you can use them when people are on medication or other things. They don't have interactions per se. And they're basically flowers given for emotional states. But he originally created 12. Now, he wasn't, as far as we know, he didn't put them down to the 12 astrological signs. We don't know actually who did that, but they're so hilariously apt for when they get divided down to the 12 signs. So we're going to do
Mhm.
that, but we're also then overlapping um, the Dr. Schussler a little bit around, near the same time, but created the 12 tissue salts or better known as cell salts. And there has been a lot of work on those 12 astrologically, not with Schussler, but with somebody else. So we're also going to look at those. So yeah, it sounds very Aussie. There's heaps of 12s within natural medicine, and I love how they overlap so beautifully with the astrological signs. So also how to use them. Again, how
Yeah.
to support yourself with really inexpensive. Not these are probably the cheapest forms of natural medicine that exist, right?
Hmm.
So also this isn't expensive naturopathy. This is like really simple and also things that again, astrologers aren't always health practitioners, so they have to be cautious what they say to their clients. And these are two there will be caveats about how to use them, but these are two of the safest forms of kind of things that you can suggest for self-healing and balancing for clients, even if you're not a health practitioner, which is
Yeah,
always
yeah.
yeah, we need to be cautious of, but I will teach them how to do that and lots of beautiful tables and whether you're online or face to face. So for people online, if they're coming to the conference, I can always, there's downloads and handouts, and I will always get those extra
Yeah,
handouts to
that's another
anybody
thing.
online. So
That's
don't feel
another
like you're missing out.
Yeah, no, that's another
Yeah,
thing about your lectures, Kira. Your slides. I'm always interested what's going to be up on the slides because there's so
they're
much
deep,
there
they're
too.
big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and for
I
those
would,
those
yeah,
who
go
are
on. Sorry.
watching online, for those who are thinking about doing this, just so you know, that we have a person who's moderating in the room, as in
Yeah,
the Zoom host, and so we also there sometimes they take questions from people who are
yeah,
watching online too. That room monitor will basically raise their hand, and
yeah,
then they'll transfer the question to the speaker, in this case, Kira. So this is for all
yeah.
the lectures, for people who
And
happen to
it
be
worked
watching
really
too.
well last year at
Yeah.
my moderator. And we, as lecturers, make really, we're really conscious that there's maybe more people even online than in the room, or hopefully the room's full,
Yeah.
but to include you. So it's not like you're missing out on all the fun if you come online. And it's also for that work, my pre-conference workshop, what I didn't say is, and you did say it, but I want to say it again, if you're booked for the whole conference face to face, you have to book separately for the pre or the post con workshops to
Hmm.
come face to face. Or you can, again, online people, but you also can just do the workshop, even face to face is my understanding. You can
Yeah,
pay to
even
do
if
that without paying for the
it's true, if
conference
some if because the
if you're
conference
in the
is sold
Seattle
out,
region.
the
Yeah.
conference the 3 days is sold out, but the pre and post aren't. Like someone can just come to do that one, and there's
Yeah.
availability there. The other part of this is whether you go to the pre-conference or you go to the online portion of it, you also have several weeks afterwards to watch
Yeah.
all this too. So in
Yeah.
case things go by fast, or you want to, there's two
Yeah.
people at the same time, but yeah, that's what's happening. The
Yeah.
integration of online and in person is very interesting with Norwac and what's been changing. But you're one of these people too that you welcome questions.
Always.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
you do, and you try to answer them all. So that again,
Yeah.
that this 12 Healers in Medical Astrology is happening on the 24th, and then on Sunday afternoon you have another
Oh, I
lecture
think
called.
that's the last lecture of the conference, isn't it?
I
Is
think
that the
it's that
last
lot in that
lecture?
last slot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last
it's
slot. That's because I can
modes,
keep people
midpoints, and
awake.
medical astrology, which is something
Yeah.
I have never seen that title or combination from it
No,
before. So
no, I haven't. None of these lectures have been given in the form they're in. These are all, yes, I've lectured a lot on Bach flowers or cell salts, but I've never put it together. So it's coming out really different. But modes, midpoints, medical astrology, the modes really get left out. We talk a lot about the elements because people can get their head around elemental healing.
sure,
But if you look at the modes and the cross of matter in the chart, that's a known really big, that ascendant, descendant, MCIC is a big point medically for everybody. It's trigger points. But modes, illnesses actually travel in kind of modal pathways. And so we're going to look at the energetics of that. We're going to look at, those oppositions in T squares or the missing point. You have a T square,
mhm,
there's a missing, that missing energy, which is really a midpoint. But
yeah,
we're also going to look at specific medical midpoints that people have talked about for years to always be careful of. And I'm not a huge, like, you can look at a lot of midpoints. Like, you could activate the whole chart by midpoints, right? So that's not what we're doing. These are like very specific midpoints, but also just talking about with the modes, because the modes are all opposite and square each other, how those are midpoint triggers within ailments. So, what to do
sure.
about it, how to look at it. Because sometimes you can't find what's going on medically, and sometimes it's because of that missing area, which is really a midpoint trigger.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. It's funny you're saying this because last night on my own, I was 3 hours of midpoint world and I was looking
Oh,
at charts.
really?
Yeah, last night I
Oh,
was. I was looking more from the more dealing with typical client questions of love life and stuff and looking at
oh.
midpoints between Venus and Mars, Jupiter and Venus, stuff like that. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. Anyway,
You're
that's
looking
for
at fun midpoints. I'm looking at
yeah.
like
Yeah.
heavier midpoints.
Yeah, it's just it's limitless the knowledge, the opportunity
I
for that.
don't, but you
Yeah.
can you can get lost in midpoint. Some medical astrologers have a huge focus on it.
Yeah,
And I'm all pro whatever. Each of us that does medical has our little bits that we love or that we not over focus on, but that we focus on.
sure.
And yeah, it's
Yeah.
really interesting how we all come to the same info from the
Uh-huh.
same energetics, but we
Yep.
all go at it from a different language, right?
Yeah, no, it is. It's fascinating. Again, I this is why I like conferences because
Mm.
of seeing lectures and you think you've seen it all, heard it all, and you're like, nope, it's not. And there's this everyone has their interesting way and the bits of knowledge they pick up along the way and how they transfer that.
Oh,
And there's
yeah.
always something to learn. So saying that, I also want to say, especially for those who will be watching online, that in between the lecture tracks, like the when
Mm.
there's the 45-minute breaks that happen, we have these online Q&As that
Yeah.
happen. And so you're going to be, and I think it's Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific, you're going to be in an online Q&A with Colin Bedell, Kristen Fontana, Wendy Stacy, and it's yourself.
Well, that's
I
going to
might
get a
be,
bit messy.
yeah,
That's
they're always
a good
interesting.
group. That's a
Yeah,
good
that's
group.
a lot of brain power in that group.
That's a lot of talkers
That's
in
a
that
lot of
group,
brain power.
too.
So yeah, so again, uh, um, I facilitate some of these Q&As along with Laura, who runs the conference, and Samantha, who's helping us. So anyway,
Awesome.
you're doing that at 5 to 5:30 on that day. There's a lot
Just
going
before
on.
the big dinner,
Yeah,
right?
before the big dinner. Again, I want to remind everybody you're interested in anything that we're talking about the schedule, about who the speakers are, anything like that. All you have to do is go to norwac.net. You can see the speaker tab, registration tab, the schedule, et cetera, the pricing, anything there. Again, you can get the whole weekend and go to the whole conference, which is amazing. I'll be there, by the way, in and out online,
You're
surprising some of these
everywhere during
people.
Norwac.
Yeah, I'll be
You're the
surprising
most
people.
mercurial flip between everything. You're bringing info ever. I love you during conferences.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta, I gotta make sure I stay hydrated and take my supplements. Um, so saying that, like, I think on the Saturday night, Samantha, who's facilitating the online part of it, they're having a party like on Saturday night. I don't know if you knew this, Kira, but people are
Oh,
encouraged to dress up as like their rising sign or represent a
oh,
certain
I
way.
didn't hear this.
Yeah,
Oh, oh, okay.
this
We're
is
dressing as our rising.
for the online
Oh,
crew.
online.
Yeah, for
Oh, I'll
online.
have to hop on.
Yeah, you stop in and say hi. I stop in at multiple times randomly in the breakout rooms. I always jump in. I'm going to surprise some of the people online at certain things. Maybe I bring certain people in.
Mm.
But that's also things that happen online. I think
Are
I'm
we dressing up face to face? I want to go to dress up.
sure. I
Astro
know you
dress
like,
up is fun.
I know we've talked about this. I know you like dressing up. There should be a theme.
I'm a subtle dresser upper though. I'm not
Yeah.
like an all out, but yes, I
Yeah.
have a jacket that is my right. It's my rising sign. Special
Ah,
jacket. Hmm.
should I guess? I already know your rising sign. So, I mean,
I know.
yeah.
I
All
know.
right.
No, no,
So,
no. I just have this amazing sequined pinky purple, like not fluorescent. When it changes shades, what's that called? Like opalescent.
oh, opalescent. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Opalescent. I have a
Nice.
pink opalescent jacket. It's
Nice.
like, mm.
Throw it in the bag.
I know. I started my, I know this isn't about the astrology, but I'm a pre-packer. So I have a little pile that starts a couple weeks before I leave to go overseas where I'm like my special things that I don't want to forget. So I'll
Yeah.
put my, I'll put my jacket in
If
there.
somehow on wherever I'm running around at the conference and there's a thing where maybe on my phone
You can get
I'm
by
logged in
me.
for the
Yeah.
online viewers and
Yeah.
I catch you
Yeah.
with the opalescence.
Oh
Come
yeah,
here.
I'll wear it.
Yeah, I'll go, come here, just you see.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do a twirl. It's long. It's a big jacket. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And
um,
yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to
yeah,
get
I'm
there. And
looking
I'm
for
excited that for the online. I'm glad I'm glad Laura and her family and the Norwac family have figured out how to do this in a great way. I've done a lot of conferences naturopathically as well as astrology where they did online and it's not always smooth. And I think I think Norwac has really figured out how to do it in a great way.
Yeah,
So,
it's trying to be straightforward. Like even this year I've suggested, I think we're going to do this. Like even on the Thursday before the conference starts, like I for those who purchase for the online weekend, like we're going to open up
mm,
one of the rooms and just say, "Hey everybody, come in and say hi. We're getting ready for
oh,
tomorrow.
nice.
You ready?" Like a
Yeah,
pre thing. I'm
a
going to probably
pre-party.
be in there and I'll be at the hotel when we do that. So for those who purchase
Yeah,
online, even on the Thursday for a certain period of time, I'll be there. And if I have my way, I work it, I can even walk around a little bit. But for the most
yeah,
part, there's all these little things that you're trying to do, and then not
yeah,
only that, people are watching. There's live captioning that goes on for the online conference too. So while in live, while the speaker is doing their lecture, there's live captioning that's happening at the bottom of the screen too. There's just little
yeah,
things like that. So
yeah.
anyway, so
Oh, can't
again,
wait.
anybody's interested in this, go to norwac.net. You can all
Yeah,
.net. It's May 22nd to the 26th. You can see the whole schedule, the whole pricing scheme, anything and everything is there,
yeah,
so on and so forth. Kira,
yeah,
thank you for
yeah. Always
chatting.
good to chat. Always dangerous. You and I chatting could
Yeah,
last
we
forever.
can go. We can talk. So, but yeah, I look
No,
forward
I'm
to
pumped.
yeah, we
Yeah,
look forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing you,
yeah,
and again, I'm looking forward to see everybody who joins online. Last year, I met so many people online that I started to follow on social media afterwards and stuff. So I'm really
yeah,
excited to see who's going to be
yeah.
there this year online. So
Yeah. And if
yeah,
you can't come to the whole conference online, come to the pre and the post conference workshops. You'll get, that's what's mine,
yeah. If
three
someone calls out to
hours.
you, yeah. Again,
I
there's
don't allow big breaks either. It's almost 3 hours, like
yeah,
material.
yeah. No, I again, I this the
Yeah,
pre and
three
post
hours. I think
conference
it's
lectures
three.
are there. Whatever jumps out at somebody, like go for it. So,
Yeah.
okay.
Easy.
Until next time, Kira and everyone
Yep.
else, we'll see you at the
See
conference.
ya.
Bye.